Of the rebrand and the new launch is in the books. I guess your initial impressions of what you saw out there tonight.
I think we are all happy with what we're seeing here. The goal, Jiu-Jitsu has been around for so long, but somebody needed to come in and kind of organize the way we watch Jiu-Jitsu. It was very hard for somebody that don't understand Jiu-Jitsu to turn on a TV and spend hours watching Jiu-Jitsu because it's very methodical and not very exciting the way we see out there. But we spent a lot of time bringing the best minds in the game to understand how to make Jiu-Jitsu exciting. And Dana, Hunter, Techi, they understand business. They understand what people want to see, and we spent a lot of time making sure we built a product that people are excited about, because these athletes are amazing athletes. I started my career in Jiu-Jitsu, and I had to migrate to MMA because I didn't have an opportunity to build a career of Jiu-Jitsu. And now little kids, even adults that changed their lives through Jiu-Jitsu, they'll see a product here that is exciting. But I think in the end of the day, everybody wins. When the UFC got into Jiu-Jitsu, and this is the first UFC BJJ, we'll see a lot more people training Jiu-Jitsu. We'll see a lot more people changing their lives through Jiu-Jitsu, and this is our goal here. We want to bring this sport to the masses, and we have, so many MMA fans that want to train MMA, but it's kind of dangerous to train MMA. Now, when they come here and get to see Jiu-Jitsu, like that it's an exciting sport that really changed lives, they can go to a Jiu-Jitsu academy and start training Jiu-Jitsu and change their lives through Jiu-Jitsu. It changed my life and changed the life of so many people I know. So I think this is the beginning of a new era in Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm very excited for the future of this sport.
The athletes kind of echoed that too. I'm just curious what you thought, right? Because the UFC doesn't exist without Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? But as you said, a lot of people haven't gotten into it. But the athletes were all out there saying, we know we have to be exciting. We know we have to attack. We can't do what we've done for years. So what did you think about them kind of embracing that message and what they did out there tonight?
This is what I tell them every time I talk to them, because I started in Jiu-Jitsu, and it's very methodical, slow. If you practice Jiu-Jitsu, you can watch, but if you don't, it's very hard to watch Jiu-Jitsu. And we tell them all the time, if you want to come here, this is a company that, builds a lot of entertainment for people, and you got to be entertaining. People have to want to watch you, and I think that's what Jiu-Jitsu needed, a little more of organization and attention and a product that really can sell and people can sit back home and watch and be excited about it.
Yeah. What do you think about the bowl itself, Riley? You coming from traditional Jiu-Jitsu, always on a mat, to have this new competition surface kind of changes the game a little bit. What did you think about, the setup?
I think it's very, you see a lot of innovation in what we did, but when you look at the results of the matches inside the bowl, we had 90% submission rate today, right? We don't see that anywhere else. It makes Jiu-Jitsu exciting, and if you take a look at MMA, the most boring part of MMA is the wall fighting. The most boring part of Jiu-Jitsu is the wait time. So we spent a lot of time understanding how to remove that from Jiu-Jitsu. So there's no walls here. If you go to the corners, you're gonna fall, and that's where Jiu-Jitsu begins. So we really did spend a lot of time trying to understand how to build a stage to make Jiu-Jitsu exciting, and there's no hard corners. You're not gonna see the hard, boring wall fighting in here. And when you get to the bowl, and even on the leg locks, when you try to run, there's nowhere to go. So we're going to see a lot more finishes here.
I love it. Last thing for me, as you said, this was kind of the start, organization, growth, but where do you see this? How many events could you do a year? How many athletes would you, how big are we talking about making this thing?
We're going to make it big, and when I have conversations with Dana and Hunter, I see that these guys, they don't play to lose. I remember I asked Dana one question. He asked me to do something. I was like, what is the next plan if I can't do that? And he said, I'm not the type. I'm not a Plan B type of a guy. So we make things happen here at the UFC, and I'm learning so much about business. You know, I have my businesses outside of the UFC, but this is a massive company that is teaching me so much about so many things in life. But you know, being around Dana and Hunter, I'm really seeing where this can go. And the same mindset I had in fighting, I'm putting into this, and I'm making sure, you know, we will grow to the level that Jiu-Jitsu deserves. We are doing 6 events this year, and don't have the schedule for next year yet, but maybe 10.
Claudio, right here. When Dana first launched Power Slap, every scrum he would talk about like slight changes he would want to make moving forward, either production or scoring or whatever. Is there anything that from this first episode, this first event, that you would want to change or tweak slightly for the next one?
For sure, we are all learning, you know, and this is UFC BJJ 1. We see a lot of things that we can change, you know, and we ask Dana all the time, what else can we do to make this more exciting? And you know, you can see the environment in there is super fun. Everybody was having so much fun watching this. So we actually made Jiu-Jitsu fun today, and a lot of people will be able to watch Jiu-Jitsu from now on. And I think we need to make a few tweaks on the bowl. We got to make it more efficient when it comes to opening the door, and a couple other things that we are looking at that we can make it more efficient.
How long before you think you could take this on the road? Like if you go international, or you like Dana's going to Power Slap in New Orleans, like could you do this before UFC pay-per-views moving forward?
That's the goal. We want to go on the road with the UFC on Thursdays. We have UFC BJJ, Fridays, Power Slap, and Saturdays, the UFC. This company keeps growing, and we keep building amazing products, and that's the goal for next year.
Is UFC BJJ strictly going to be like grapplers, or can we see maybe UFC athletes come over and do a one-off match?
Yeah, I think when you are in this environment, you kind of can tell the difference between MMA grapplers and Jiu-Jitsu competitors. It's just a different pace. It's not that MMA grapplers are not good at Jiu-Jitsu. It's just a different pace because they have to train so many other types of martial arts, and it takes away from being a specialist in Jiu-Jitsu, you know. So we saw Talita Alencar today. She did good. It was an amazing match against Cassia Moura. It's just a different pace, right? And if we do bring MMA fighters here, maybe we do MMA fighter versus MMA fighter. You know, we want to keep this sport pure, and we believe in the talent of Jiu-Jitsu. There's, you know, when I think about back home, you know, in the Amazon, in the favelas of Brazil, there is so many kids training Jiu-Jitsu, waiting for an opportunity like that to change their lives and come out here and put on a show to really change their lives. So the answer is we are still learning about what's going to happen and what the rules are going to be, but we are open to bring MMA fighters there that can put on exciting fights in Jiu-Jitsu.
Claudia, just one more to your right at the back here. I missed the start, so apologies if you've had this one already. In your fighting career, you made it all the way to a world title fight, which is obviously a huge achievement in that sport. How does this compare in terms of an achievement for you personally, having moved across as an executive as such and have launched this league now and put on the first successful event?
This is better. I think, you know, when you are in the middle of an athletic career, it's so hard to see beyond your athletic career because you're so focused on winning and working on being the best. But it's such an individual sport. When you win, you get money, you can help other people like I did. I got to help my family and give my family a great life. But I feel like this is winning with the combat sports community. I didn't win today, Jiu-Jitsu won today. And so many people that can change their lives through Jiu-Jitsu, which we see over and over again, this happening, will be able to go back home and practice a martial art that can change their lives, you know. So I want to be in the business that change lives, and this is definitely a business that change lives.
Thank you.
Yeah, just one quick question. So do you have a timeline for the expansion? I'm talking about new weight classes. Has this been discussed? And then we just saw the ladies get down tonight. Is there a title and a title opportunity for the females as well? And what's the timeline on all of this?
For sure, before UFC BJJ, we were building jiu-jitsu in the UFC through UFC Fight Pass. So we had an event called the UFC Fight Pass Invitational, and we are actually building a whole development program in there. And we have really good female competitors there too. At some of our cards, we have 3-4 matches for the girls, and it's so nice to see girls really go at it, and we love that. So right now we are building the 125-pound division and the 145-pound division for the girls, and then we are building 6 divisions for the boys, and that's what we're gonna do for now. And next year we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do when it comes to expansion, but this is our goal for now. Thank you.
Congratulations on winning an inaugural UFC BJJ title. Talk about just the feeling and the importance of winning that belt.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Today I just make sure be the first lightweight world champion and UFC BJJ. I'm super happy. I think I've been working for my entire life for one moment like that, and today I come here and I get what's mine.
Yeah, a familiar opponent, of course. How much did that factor into your strategy coming in, and how things played out tonight?
Yeah, the first 2 times that we fought before was IBJJF rules. The rules is don't help me a lot because I feel they was help the guys want to stall a little bit, play safe, And when I come to FPI the first time, I feel the rules all the time make you go forward and help me a lot. I always look for the submission from everywhere, and I already know he's gonna be try sit on his butt, on his back all the time. And what I did for entire 2 rounds, I try make his guess out, and the last 2 minutes I get the submission, the same submission thing I get on my semi-final in the reality show. So that's what I go, and you get.
Yeah. What does the victory mean to you? I mean, having that belt, you seem like you're carrying it pretty proudly. Is this the biggest win of your career thus far?
Exactly. That's the biggest win in my career. I just make sure, I say, you make sure today, be the first lightweight world champion of UFC BJJ. I'm gonna tell from my child, and I'm gonna tell from my family for my entire life. That's is the history.
Nice. Overall, the experience, I mean, the reality show, competing here in the UFC Apex, all the production, the cameras, how would you explain the whole experience? What was it like for you?
Yeah, what was great, I say, I never had this kind of experience before, before we fight against my opponent, hang out together, chain, check, share technique, this kind of stuff, normally, when I go compete against my opponents, I just he stay away, I'm here. But hang out, and after he fight against them, it was really funny, and being the reality show, with on the house with the guys, was super fun. My first experience like this, I had fun.
Nice. Claudia was here earlier, and she talked about the importance of just making jiu-jitsu exciting and hopefully getting more fans and more people to tune in. I mean, what's your goal as champion? Is that something you feel you can help do, is to help people think of the sport as more exciting and to maybe make it more appealing to other people?
Yeah, exactly. I have formatting on the organization, and all the force by submission. So yeah, jiu-jitsu can be really funny if you find the right guy to bring here and look for a fire forward, try to go for the submission. jiu-jitsu can be really fun. Like it's really dangerous. Like I just like did in my semi-final on the reality show. I gave like a beautiful performance in my 3 matches. So yeah, I try like show this for everybody. Every time when I step out to compete against my opponents, I try to show the beautiful jiu-jitsu thing I have and show people like jiu-jitsu is really fun. And that's my goal. And I'm gonna try to keep do this like for as long as I stay here.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, I'm sure you want to enjoy this moment, but we always ask champions in the UFC, like, what's next? What's the plan? So for you, what's next?
Yeah, like I say, I'm the champion right now. I don't have to charge nobody. I'm gonna wait for the UFC call me and give me the next one. You know, I'm the champion. They need fight. They need like find a way to compete against me. So I'm gonna wait. UFC. I know like they're gonna like make a good match for me, and I'm wait.
I'll add one more. Are you going home or are you going to stay for the UFC and try to cheer on Charles Oliveira?
Of course, I'm gonna stay for watch Charles Oliveira. Me and my beautiful wife. We're gonna go. Us. Thank guys. Just thank guys.
Congratulations on really just an absolutely dominant performance. I guess, how would you evaluate what happened out there tonight?
I mean, yeah, it was a great performance. I was able to get the submission in about 3.5 minutes, and the only reason I was able to do that is because I was just pushing the whole time, going 100%. Jiu-jitsu, we don't have to worry about getting kicked in the head and knocked out. You know, all we have to worry about is exposing ourselves to submissions. So as long as you stay in good position, you're fighting hard, there's no reason you shouldn't, you know?
Yeah, 100%. That's become your signature. I mean, it looked like you were having a good time out there the whole time, too. Like, what was the overall experience of tonight? Just the atmosphere of the Apex, the bowl that you're competing in, the setup. What was the experience like for you tonight?
It's just like very professional. You know, I've been to a lot of events over the years, and I've been competing since I was 6, and I've seen it all, and they just keep it very professional, and they keep it so just boom, 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 boom. So it takes the stress off of you, and you're able just to get out there and do what you do. You don't have to worry about anything else. And then the bowl's dope, you know, because you feel like you're in that, and you really can't see anyone else around you. You see your opponent, and you see walls. So it makes it like locks you in, and you kind of tune out everything else. So it is a very cool factor for sure.
You talked about your lifelong of competition. Where does this victory stand among your wins throughout your life?
This is the biggest one, for sure. I've had some big victories, like my CGI run, my trials run, my worlds run, my combat jiu-jitsu, but this is for sure the most meaningful victory for me, to like stamp my name in history as like the first UFC BJJ title holder for welterweight is just like so cool to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say definitely it's #1 for sure.
Claudia was here earlier. She was talking about just the goals overall for UFC BJJ and growing the sport and gaining awareness. Like, as champion, what's your goal? Like, what role do you play in that, and what is your goal with this platform?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to be a good influence, and I just want to represent to like the next generation and the people that are in my generation. Just like if you work hard and fight hard, you can make a name for yourself. Like, you're not going to make a name for yourself, you know, running away on your heels and not taking risk. Like I said, jiu-jitsu, you're not worried about getting knocked out. You're able to take risk. So yeah, I just want to be a good influence on every other fighter. Just take some risk and go out there and fight as hard as you can. That's the only way our sport is to continue to like elevate.
Yeah. I think you probably walked away as the biggest star of the night, man. People were talking about you for sure. What did you think overall, not just tonight, but like the whole reality show experience and being a part of that? I mean, what has been your whole impression of this whole thing?
It was pretty cool. I mean, it was a lot of stress. It was a lot of like new things that I'm not used to dealing with. So, you know, when you do things that you're used to, you can kind of calculate it. But the reality show is just like a lot of like new experiences. I've done a reality show in the past, but this one was ran a lot differently. So the nerves, the anticipation, everything like that was just really heavy. So to win this, just all of it paid off, and now I get to like relax and exhale, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's awesome. Last thing for me, I know, like you said, you want to relax, enjoy the moment, but we always ask champions what's next. It looks like we already know what's next.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
is that 100% the match that has to happen next?
I mean, if he walks in the ring and he has a face-off of me, it's probably going to happen. But I'm down to fight whoever wants to fight me, as long as they're not boring. I don't want to be the only one pushing forward in the match and trying to obtain something. I want to fight people that are willing to leave it all out there on the mat and willing to elevate our sport. And Hanato Kanutu is an excellent example of that. So if he wants to have a great match, then I'm down to have it. But there's so many other people in the welterweight division as well that I would love to have a match with as well. So whatever happens, I'll be training hard, and I'll be ready for whoever.
Right here. Obviously, it's coming up on a year from that epic match you had with Cage. One of the ones people say it could be the greatest match ever. So I guess from then to now, just how's your life changed? Because obviously you've done your things at jiu-jitsu, but I feel like that match had such crossover appeal, and then now to be the inaugural champion, just what is basically the last 10 months of your life, man?
Yeah, I mean, I was really injured after CGI, and it took me a while to get back to where I was feeling good. I mean, I got a lot of hype and I had a lot of opportunities, but I never really got to fully embrace them, because I was just trying to get back into a camp, trying to get back healthy. And as a fighter that loves to compete, when I'm not healthy, I'm really not happy at all. All of these opportunities and all these cool things can be coming my way, but if I'm not doing what I love, training and pushing myself, then it's hard to enjoy it really. But looking back on it now, now that I'm healthy and I have the championship, CGI set me up so well. That match against Cade, really showed people that no matter what, even if I'm not putting the best technique or putting the best thing out, I'm still scrapping, And I think that was a very good standpoint in my life to show people. I'll leave it all out on the mat, and yeah, from here on out, it's going to be the same way.
And I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, but I'm sure there's some UFC fans that didn't watch CGI. Is that a match you think has to be run back? And
me versus Cade?
Probably here.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be super dope if I could fight one of the Ritolos again, or Cade especially. I have a lot of respect for them, and they're scrappers. Like I said, they push forward, and anyone like that, I'm down to fight. I hope it works out between organizations, because that would be so dope. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. But there's so many other people out there that are willing to scrap as well.
Then just last one for me. You're talking about the pit and the walls and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What was the experience like in there compared to the CGI one? Because I think people online were comparing the two.
Yeah, I loved the CGI pit. The CGI pit was awesome. The only thing that I do like more about the UFC bowl is the fact that it's rounded. It keeps it more center, and it keeps it consistent no matter where you go. And then also the fact that it is rounded. I felt a lot of times when you drive someone, their heels would get stuck against the wall, and then their body would fall. So then you're in a super, super, super compromised position. But when it's rounded, you can still fight off of it. So it's not too one-sided ever. I love the CGI pit, and it was a great design, and so is the UFC bowl. My preference is, I would have to say the bowl, just because I'm the champion. I have a little bit of a biasness, but yeah, it's definitely, having walls in jiu-jitsu is great. No one can run away from me, and that's the way it should be.
Just one here from me. You mentioned the good part about jiu-jitsu is you don't get kicked in the head.
Yeah.
You had Bellamir on the card. Hanato's embarking on an MMA career. Do you ever think about maybe throwing some hands, getting some striking working?
Yeah, well, we're going to be eventually moving out here and train at Syndicate, and so I'm sure that my hands will just keep getting better and better, while training out there with all the really good guys there, like Cody Steele, Aljamain Marab, and so many more. I've had striking experience in the past. It's definitely not a strong suit of mine, but who knows, man? Who knows? If I just keep excelling in jiu-jitsu and keep winning, then it only makes sense to transition over. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to be training hard and definitely mixing in striking here and there. And if I keep getting better and if I'm confident, and if I get paid enough, then I'm sure I'm going to do some MMA fights.
Thank you.
Andrew, congratulations to you. Right?
Oh yeah.
As we see this continued growth of BJJ, and obviously we talk about that Cade Ruotolo versus you super fight, do you think if we look back in maybe 20 years, this could be the Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner of BJJ?
Oh yeah. I mean, I mean, I've seen a lot of really good matches. Like Gary Tunnon's had some extremely good matches. I've seen Hanato have some really good matches. I've seen PJ and also the Rotolos in their past fights. I mean, there's so many people that are putting on great matches, but it was never as back and forth like how Rotolo and I was. And I believe that's what made it such a great match, is like how back and forth it was. And yeah, I would definitely say like 20, 30 years from now, people could look at our match and be like, yeah, that was like really what like made people want to scrap and made people want to go out there and leave it all on the mat. I hope so. I hope so for my sake, you know, like that would be pretty dope.
I was fortunate enough to be there, and I vividly remember how just loud it was, deafening inside the Thomas and Mack. So, would you like to see the UFC BJJ side take things to maybe like little arenas like that, and just to continue to grow the sport that way?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like competing in front of like a super, super, super big crowd. It's just like you can't hear your thoughts, you can't hear your coaches. Like it's a cool factor because it's just like you and him. I think like a good like 2,000 like is a good number because you can still hear the intensity of the crowd, but you're not like completely overwhelmed. Of course, if I keep winning and everyone else keeps pushing jiu-jitsu forward, like of course jiu-jitsu is going to get to that point eventually where it deserves those crowds and it brings those crowds, and if that happens, I definitely won't be complaining. You know, I'll be out there hyping myself up while the crowd's hyping me up. You know.
Congrats on the win, but just a quick one.
Oh.
All the belts tonight were not only done in style, but they were finishes.
Yeah.
How much more like happiness do you have that there was no questionable decision? You didn't have to sweat it out like, oh, did the judges see this and see that?
Yeah.
But you cemented your legacy with a finish.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Your guys' voices, it's like it all comes from right here, and I don't know who's talking. But it was really nice, the fact that I was able to get a confirmed win, and I was able to go out there and win and have no like deciding factor. There's nothing worse than like when you get a ref's decision and then you look in the comments and everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't have won, oh, he should have won. Like the fact that I get to like go home and look in the comments and everyone will probably be mostly positive is like a big relief to me. I try not to look at the comments, but you always do, you know, you try not to care, but you care a little bit. So it definitely means a lot, the fact that I was able to win quickly and make it decisive.
Sir, congrats and well done.
Thank you.
Andrew, one question over here. Going back to the arena, so to speak,
Yeah.
the bowl.
Yeah.
You have the bowl, you have the CGI pit, and then you have your standard regulation mats. And to prepare for these matches, did you get distracted on these angles and these walls? Did you have to change up the way you prepare for these matches and take into consideration the bowls and the curves as you spoke? Did you have to be careful about not being too distracted and getting away from your actual game?
Yeah, I mean, so in IBJJF, you're trying not to push the person towards the edge because if you take them down, they have the ability to just run off. So you're trying to always attack zone when they're in the middle. If you watch wrestling, when there's a circle, you get push-out points. So they're working a lot of their setups off of pushing people. Push, feint, and that really changed my strategy a lot. Like push them, get them against the wall, pressure them, and work my attacks off of pushing. And usually I don't work my attacks off of pushing. I work my attacks off of circling, feigning, wrist snaps. So it definitely made my mindset and game plan change for sure. But yeah, it definitely worked out. You know, like I have a good style, like pushing someone and moving forward. So implementing that wasn't hard at all. Let's go. Appreciate you guys.
Mikey, congratulations. Not only on just your victory, but just the whole season, you know, being the coach, having the spotlight. I mean, I guess first let's just talk about tonight and how important this victory was and how you feel you performed out there.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm just so happy and relieved right now that I got through this match. I'm just so happy this is the first UFC belt ever. So to be able to be the first one to headline a card like this and to win the belt, like, I never imagined this in my life doing jiu-jitsu, you know. I come from a small town in New Jersey. I always say the same thing, but it's true. I come from a small town in New Jersey, started jiu-jitsu in 2000, 2001. Jiu-jitsu wasn't even big at all in America at that time. And I just had a passion for it. It was in my heart, and I just lived my life through my heart. And it brought me to different continents, different parts of the world, and it brought me to UFC BJJ, the first card, and winning it. So I'm just so happy right now. I wanted to finish the fight a bit faster, but I made the adjustments as the match went on, and I was able to finish. But I think it helped me a lot having some experience out there and getting more time. So that's going to help me in future matches. So that's what I'm happy about.
You were dominating the flow of the match, right? But, I mean, he was showing some very capable defense. Like, were you getting frustrated at all, or were you starting to think, like, man, maybe I'm not going to be able to catch him?
Yeah, I definitely was controlling the match. I won rounds 1 and 2 for sure. And I think the 3-round format really favors me because when I feel like I'm ahead in the match, that's when I get a little more free to just go for the finish, like full out. I think I passed twice also on top, so I was able to show some passing as well. But definitely he was so tough and strong. I feel like the only thing I was missing was my squeeze strength. Was a little weaker than I wanted. I felt like my arms got a bit tired faster than I wanted, so I'm going to start squeezing watermelons to get my squeeze strength more so I could finish heel hooks faster. Sorry, guys.
I mean, listen, you competed at the highest level of the sport for a long time, but I wonder what the feeling was like tonight, right? Like, this was a historic event. This is, you know, the combat sports powerhouse that is the UFC. You're in the apex. Were there any added nerves, pressure, a different feeling than normal tonight?
Yeah, I just felt so much pressure. It definitely made me more vulnerable than I usually am. Definitely, I'm used to competing. Like, I've competed in a lot of different things, but this was just such a different experience, headlining the first UFC BJJ card and everyone watching and all this pressure. But I lived up to the pressure. You know, I love feeling like I'm dying from pressure, and then I love overcoming that feeling and not giving up or quitting. So I felt that feeling. I hated that feeling. I wanted to die, like when you have that pressure feeling. Not really die, but like you feel it, and then you overcome it, and then you feel so good and relieved after for overcoming what your obstacle was.
You talked about not ever really expecting to be here where you are, but I want to ask you not just tonight, but the whole thing. I mean, a reality show, the UFC, a lot of people praising you for your role as a coach and your performance. I mean, just the whole experience as a whole, not just the match tonight. What has this meant for you?
It was everything, you know, just creating history. I was living in Asia for 3 years, and I came back to the U.S. where my family is in Vegas, and I spoke to Hunter, Claudia, and Techi, and we made this plan, this master plan to grow our sport to the world and make it the biggest we can make our sport, you know. So I had a lot of passion when I spoke to them, and we did everything that we spoke about. You know, I spoke to Hunter after, and I'm so grateful for him for doing everything, you know. We really created this insane product for the world. I think that the matches tonight showed that. When do you see grappling matches where all of them are finishes? I think maybe one match was a decision, but out of 8 matches, 7 finishes, like that shows you we're doing something right with grappling, right? So people that don't know what jiu-jitsu is, they'll see the finishes and be like, oh, what was that? That's cool, you know? So we could get people to start learning about our sport, and besides just someone winning by 2 points, you know, or a pass or a back take, and they have no idea what's going on. So I think we're doing the right things.
Yeah. Last thing for me, and you kind of touched on it there, but like everybody here kind of has that same mission in mind, right? Help grow jiu-jitsu, help it become popular, help more people access it. What do you see your role in accomplishing that mission?
I definitely see my role that I stayed true to myself, and I had this vision for our sport, and I didn't move away from it, you know. I could have went to other organizations maybe and done different things just to make a quick payday or things like that, but I wanted to just focus on what would make our sport grow the most and sustainable, not just investors and then bankrupt, random organizations, you know. So I feel like what we did and what we're doing is actually sustainable, where people and children that are training in our sport could look at this and be like, oh, UFC BJJ, I want to do that one day, and they'll be able to do that. They won't have to feel like, oh, will that go out of business? Will that change owners, and then we have to go to another organization, you know, and then it's just over and over this cycle. Like, we actually are making a legitimate thing, and drug testing, everything is starting here. So I'm just so grateful to be in the beginning of this platform and standing my ground, you know, because I got so much hate from people, jealous people, people that have big mouths, getting mad at me for doing this. But I know what's right and what's wrong, and I know that this is the right path for me, and I'm just so happy I'm a part of it.
Mikey, the front. Right. At the very end, when you shook your opponent's hand and you walked back to your corner, when you won, it looked like you were really holding in, looked like you almost were gonna release a lot of emotions there. So I guess, and then you hugged your coaches. So I guess what was going through your minds when you finally did kind of walk over and embrace your coaches?
I just had so much pressure and anxiety and nerves for this, and how I handled that is I just mentally detached from everything, and I kind of mentally went to another place. And then when the match ended, first I was concerned about my opponent because I really like Harrison. I didn't want to injure him at all, so I said sorry. I didn't want to hurt him. And then I went to my corner, and the realization hit that the match was over, and I just won, and I did it. So that's basically what I felt at that moment, and that, yeah, the match is done, and I don't have to. I got through the pressure, the nerves, the feeling like I'm dying, and I got through it. Because I'm not a extrovert fighter type person. I'm really introvert. Being in front of all these people, it's horrifying to me. But I was able to handle that once again in my life.
Claudia was in here, and I asked her this because, when Dana started Power Slap, it seems like for the first few events, every scrum, he would talk about slight tweaks he would want to make to not just the product, but the production and the lighting and everything. So after competing in this and being around it for so long, the talks you guys had, is there any changes that you would like to see? Not major ones, but just small tweaks here and there for the next event.
Yeah, I think that every perfectionist will just keep altering and tweaking things until they make their product the best, right? So that's why Dana White is like that. He's a perfectionist, obviously, what he created with UFC, right? So that's the best type of people that are always looking for improvements. I don't know, from my perspective, we had 7 finishes out of 8. When do you see that in a jiu-jitsu card, guys? I don't know, we're being really spoiled with these exciting matches. I've seen cards in jiu-jitsu where there's no finishes the whole night and people are falling asleep. This was all finishes, so we definitely are on the right track, if not there. I think now it's just going to take some time for people to get more educated with jiu-jitsu and more into it slowly as we develop characters and things in our sport. But I think we did it tonight, guys. I think we really had a successful night of matches.
And the champions of the UFC, especially the inaugural ones or the ones that bring the attention, are often viewed as the face of the sport. Conor was the face of MMA, Ronda was the face of women's MMA. Do you feel you are going to be the face of jiu-jitsu here in America, just based off of becoming the inaugural champ, the first coach, headlining the first event, and really you're putting yourself out there to kind of make this so big?
I wouldn't call myself the face of jiu-jitsu, but I definitely just want to be a great example and inspire other people more like myself to do jiu-jitsu and to enjoy jiu-jitsu. People more with my personality and stuff, they have a hard time possibly staying in jiu-jitsu because they feel like it's not a place for them. They feel different than other people possibly in this sport that are more like fighters and extrovert and outgoing. So I feel like I give them hope that they could also do that. And yeah, being the main event, being a part of the reality TV show, it was just so special for me. But I won't call myself that, but I definitely want to be one of the biggest role models for people in this sport, especially to not take steroids and to do things right. So if I could sum up what I want to just be a person that's doing things right for others and paving the way for other people to follow the path that I'm doing, and that yields them having sustainability and success in their life, and not really doing bad things like taking steroids, drugs, going into weird super fights, doing stuff that is not really that good, and some of the other paths lead to other bad things.
And just last one for me, I'm sure you've seen it, Craig Jones' video that he put out before the event. Have you seen it?
I deleted Instagram last night. I think that was a smart play because I knew I'd possibly get some things from Craig, Gordon, all those people before going into this, but I just didn't feel like dealing with it for a day. Sure. So I'll probably see a lot of fun things when I install Instagram back on my phone.
Well, it was basically he hopes the event went well and he hopes it went off without hitch, but he seems to take...
Oh, he was being nice?
Well, it was a little double-edged. He goes, I hope it goes well, and you can see all the rules that I created in the pit that I created on a big platform like UFC BJJ. And then he had a rocket launcher and he blew up a doll of Dana White, saying a whole bunch of other things. So I guess, do you have a message for... I know you haven't seen the video, but Craig seems to think that, this is all his ideas that the UFC has taken.
Yeah, I really respect Craig. Thank you again for helping us create this format. You definitely had an impact on it with CGI. I think that showed us all that was a great rule-setting format. I have nothing bad to say about Craig. I'm just thankful that he helped grow our sport in the right direction. And then we used that format and we made it a bit better. You know, I feel like we're growing our sport and we're making it a bit better, just like everyone else in jiu-jitsu, right? Craig took the karate combat pit. We took that karate combat pit and made it cooler. Then the rule set that Craig had with the 10-point must system, like ACB had, he took that from them. Then we made that better. So everyone in jiu-jitsu, everyone's using, like learning, taking things from each other. We definitely updated and took what Craig had and we tried making it a slightly modified version, but he definitely deserves recognition for his input and what he's done in our sport. You know, and I respect that. I have nothing bad to say. Craig, don't attack me on Instagram, please. I'm at peace with you. I'm waving the white flag. We're cool.
Mikey over here. I have a question. Congratulations, by the way, on the belt.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Is there any chance that your sister, because she's amazing as well in jiu-jitsu, if she would ever be part of UFC BJJ as well?
Absolutely. I think she's supposed to compete on the July card. She's planning on competing on the July card. I don't know who her opponent is, but that's the plan. She wants to compete alongside me here as well, so that'll be really cool. She's a full-time lawyer, but at night she trains, so she'll have enough time. The card's at night, so we're good.
Thank you.
Hey, Mikey, quick one back here.
Yes.
Straight down the middle.
Hi. Sorry, I'm a bit blind.
Straight down the middle.
Oh, I see you. I see
There
you.
we go.
The light makes you kind of blind, but I got you.
All good. Congratulations. Besides things like deleting Instagram for a minute, what are some things you do to kind of, just tune out a lot of that noise so you can just get to that place to compete at the level you want to when you're out there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, I do a lot of meditation and visualization, but honestly, you just feel like you're dying before you go in. The pressure and everything makes you feel like you can't breathe and like you're shaking. Like I was like that all day today, but definitely Cobrinha helped me. He definitely deserves recognition for how much he helped me today. We trained for 4 hours this morning straight in my house, in my garage, and that definitely calmed me down training with Cobrinha and warming up with him, because he's so amazing and good. So when you train with someone that's like the best in the world and so good, everyone else doesn't feel that level, you know? So then it like changes my perception. So then when I go into a match, I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel like Cobrinha. This is nice. So then it definitely helped me. So I definitely do a lot of things like that. But one thing I've learned in my life with jiu-jitsu, and I think this is good for a lot of people, is you don't have to mentally have like this mindset like you're gonna kill everyone. You don't have to be like cocky and super confident. You just have to work hard every day, and if you're doing the right things, it will just work, you know? And you just have to trust in the process and just trust in the results. Your mind could think whatever it wants, but if your body could function while your mind is like negative or whatever, you'll do good things.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the win. 2 quick ones for me. We've seen you on the posters for Fight Pass Invitational, obviously for this massive event and, just kind of leading the way. How active going forward would you like to be besides the defending champion? Because all this pressure, are you ready to take even more on and just keep the train going, or what are the plans in the next year or two?
Yeah, honestly, the pressure and stress, like I still haven't healed my ulcers. So I had 3 stomach ulcers in December, and they have not gone away. So definitely this stress and pressure has not been helping my stomach ulcers recover. I'm just living on this medicine like every day, and if I get off of it one day, my stomach's like screwed. So I think the next step is like no cortisol for like a week or 2, and then we go from there. But definitely my next match, I want to compete with Gio Martinez. Me and him were supposed to have a match 3 times in a row now, and the match got canceled, so he was doing camps and things, so I feel bad for him, and I think it's fair that we have this match. I think it'll be really exciting for people. So heal up my ulcers and have that match with him, or if I don't heal up my ulcers, just take more medicine and then heal up after. I don't know.
And last for me, you mentioned, just keep it to yourself, being introvert, all this, but there's a belt right there, right next to you. How do you celebrate this big win and another notch on the legacy?
Yeah, so again, this is the biggest title I've won for sure in my life. I've won many titles, but this is the most special one just because of what we're doing with this title, and what this impact will have on the sport with UFC BJJ. It means so much to me, and now I could kind of have emotion again, because you kind of just shut off all your emotions when you're in camp, like the last week or so. I just shut off everything I'm feeling. Like, it doesn't matter what you're feeling. Just go forward. Just go forward. so I could kind of feel a little bit. I'm going to go to Hawaii with my girlfriend and stay at Mark Zuckerberg's ranch. That's my plan right now next week, and I'm really excited.
All right, congrats on the win. Well done.
Thank you so much, sir.